Yes. RadioSuper.com. DJ D3 over here. Lisa Arenas, what's going on?
Good evening. How are y'all?
I'm good. We got a special show once again because that's all we do on Off the Cuff.
Special presentations only.
Yes. We got an OG on the line. We got none other than, the Native American. Am I right when I say Cherokee? You part of the Cherokee tribe? We got Litefoot on the line. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? How are you all?
We good over here, man. We just down here in AZ. It's a little, it ain't that hot no more, but we chilling. Where you calling from, brother?
Seattle, Washington, man. Seattle, Washington. That's the hometown.
No doubt, man. Thank you so much for jumping on this call, man. A lot to talk about, and we was like real fortunate to just to link up to see if we can talk to you. I mean, you're into a lot of stuff, man. I mean, first of all, you're pretty much a legend. You know what I'm saying? So, much respect with that.
Music, actor. I wouldn't really say a politician in the sense of like president-elect politician, but he is educated into politics in his community.
Yeah, definitely. Activist, man. Definitely. Thank you for joining us, brother.
It's a pleasure to be on, man. Thank you guys. And, it's been an incredible journey. And I just try to, keep pushing to do the best that I can, man, with what's put in front of me.
No doubt, man. No doubt. So this is what we're going to do. Let's play a couple of joints first. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's play a couple of tracks. And then we're going to get into this interview with Litefoot, man, the OG. He got a couple of joints for us to hear too, man. And yeah, let's talk about it though. Let's chop it up. We'll be right back, y'all. This is Off the Cuff, RadioSuper.com. DJ D3. Download the app. Lisa Arenas over here and Litefoot, y'all. We'll be right back.
Maybe we should love somebody. Yep. Joy come in the morning. The sunrise tomorrow, no matter how dark the night gets. You feel me, right? Yeah. We gon' still be alright. Joy come in the morning, we just got last for a night. The mask came off tonight. Don't matter who in the big house, we gon' still march and fight. Word to my people, what up? My brothers still standing strong, holding they nuts. Sisters, we built tough, right? Yeah. It's super heavy though to think about. These bodies between the sheets, Ron Ozzy wasn't singing about. I know the disbelief and pain that we all feeling now. Why some feel the need to wanna burn it down? It's understand. Ain't no fear in my heart. I only fear God. Feel like beast mode with the ball. Word on my back, but we gon' still go super hard for you all, right? Right. Do it for the children. I got some things on my soul. Yeah. Another hashtag in the streets, motherfuck it all. Don't invest the money in a business that don't fuck with y'all. Look the babies in the eye and tell them we'll do better. Yesterday is over, but tomorrow's still waiting for us all. Yeah, sing that. Sing that loud. How it go? Till I break the wind. What it feel like? Walking through the vibe. All my people growing tired. Mamas fighting with their babes. They the ones that start the revolution, shit crazy. Media portrayed with lies, wanna justify how my black folk died. They don't wanna hear our cries, so we set that motherfucker on fire. Yeah, Christmas addicts, they drug us through the system, America like an addict. Abuse of power can show you a real savage. Being peaceful nowadays, a little below average. Pride myself in being exceptionally well at it. We'll play like y'all play and let our children throw tantrums. We hear the media telling you all to fear us. Never took a day off from killing us like Ferris. All day circus, they spinning shit like Ferris. We got a bigger will, our will to live as a parent, yeah. Just as a parent, we living in America but ain't paying the same rent. We need progress and they still talking past tense. Where we going, ain't no need in backing down from shit. Yeah. walking through the vibe. Yeah, all my people growing tired. Mamas fighting with they babies. They the ones that start the revolution. Shit crazy. Media portrayed with lies, wanna justify how my black folk died. They don't wanna hear I cry, so we set that motherfucker on fire. Walking through that vibe, burn that bitch. All my people growing tired. We tired, bruh. Mamas fighting with they babies. They the ones that start the revolution. Shit crazy. It's crazy out here. Yo, hard to get a grasp on how I feel. Shit, who gon' take this wheel? If we give up and don't try to build, it ain't over, we ain't. The babies watching, see the hating killers. I know it's scared of children, but ain't an option. You ain't safe because you make a profit. Money won't keep us from it. I think about it often. If we don't pay attention, I hope you know what it's gonna cost us. The 13th got our brothers in prisons and coffins. They pray we all listen. The day would do the known that Turner inspired the movement. They don't wanna see us. Some days I think we lost it already. We broke with the levees. We were. I remember night when they said it. Shit, what happened to the music's message? We can't forget about them Malcolm and Betty. We gotta stay ready or we'll slim pockets with no homes to live and no jobs to get. We'll be war and racism, they hate us still, but we'll fight until we're all like the shine in the Shutter Island. Pray it never get violent. My mama told me class was always styling. They wildin' cause Obama made it. A black man made it better and that's why they hate us. So never stop being what they hate and brilliant. Keep being smart black folks. Shouts to the homie millions. Oakland. And to all the people that rode in, you owe us. How a porn star become the floaters. Is this what we want our girls to grow up in? 10% this and paper thin. Y'all ain't seen the light. I blame your parents cause they ain't raised you right.
Yeah, radiosuper.com. Off the cuff, y'all. We got Litefoot on the line. All right, man. How you doing, man?
Everything's good, man. Just kind of taking it easy this Sunday with the family and just kind of, enjoying them. Got to be back on the road tomorrow. So, just kind of savoring the moments, man.
No doubt, man. So, I mean, you've been at this thing for a while, man. So it's just like, I don't know where even to start with this. I mean, let's talk about the first time you actually considered yourself a hip-hop MC, man. Like, how did you get into, like, hip-hop? And, I mean, as far as I know, man, you were, like, one of the first Native Americans to actually, to get on and do their thing on a big scale, man. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I really always found it just sort of a release for me, and I don't want to say, easy, but I mean, it was fairly effortless for me to just, kind of formulate my thoughts into words that rhymed, and in Oklahoma where I grew up and really started, I would kind of, turn that into just poems and things that maybe my girlfriends knew about. But, I wasn't really going into, I played football and, it wasn't anything. I mean, we all definitely were fans of hip hop and everything that was hot at the time. And, I didn't really ever see myself as being somebody that, was going to, use it or be a part of it in that regard. Who was very, very involved in, all things musical and theatrical and really wanted to pursue that. Yeah. She was working, my mom had moved out to Cali and so I went out to see him and she was working on some music out there with some producers in Watts. And so I went over to their studio in Little Watts and they had this one song and she wanted me to write a rap. And I was kind of like, I was tripping a little bit because I'd never really written, a rap. I had written a million things, but it wasn't really, ever like song lyrics. I guess. And so she got me in the studio, and the producer asked me to go in and, lay the scratch track, and so they would have kind of, whoever, and they kept telling me somebody would come in and rap this song. And so they said, now that you've got it, go in there and rap it so that we know what, whoever we get in here, how it's supposed to go and how you heard it. So I went in the studio, and he's like, all right, we'll say it one more time, but say it exactly like, put a little bit more energy into it, and we'll be good. So I did it one more time, and he goes, all right, that's a keeper. And they used my vocal on that song. So it was kind of a whole thing that she kind of tricked me into doing my first rap song. But I got bit, man. And, I just, as it evolved and I started to really take it, more serious in that respect, I just felt like there was more I could do to maybe send out a message. And when I looked around, I didn't see anything native in, on the radio, on TV, or, when, back then when, you would go out to like a Barnes and Noble and see all these magazines and every culture and everybody represented, there wasn't nothing hardly with anything to do with native anything. And I just felt like we were so underrepresented, and yet we have so many issues that need to be heard by the rest of the world, and so much that needed to get out. And it was like, we were kind of on mute, and I felt like, maybe I could try to do something, and where better to start than in my own community. And so I started with my tribe, and then started working my way around Oklahoma, performing for tribes, and that kind of took off, man. And I ended up going to Kodiak, Alaska, all the way over to Maine. And then, maybe like a year and a half later, I ended up getting asked to go to Rome, and the Rome deal ended up, kind of launching the movie thing with my first role for Paramount Pictures.
Nice, man. So, all right, that was the next question.
Right.
Yeah, with the like the acting thing, man. Like, so,
how did you fall into that from the music?
So, I went over to Rome and performed over there in 1994, and when I got back, the people that coordinated that, which was the American Indian College Fund, they were based in New York City at the time, and so Paramount Pictures was looking for, anybody they could find. I mean, they scoured all of North America for the lead, casting the lead role in Indian in the Cupboard, and they called over to the College Fund and they said, hey, is there any collegiate folks out there, college actors or acting people coming up, or people we should know about? And, it's kind of crazy because, we do our best out in our colleges, and they got some great folks out there and some great schools across the country out on the reservation, but I'm not too aware of any drama schools, or departments that are really stood much, you know what I mean? But they didn't know, right? So they're asking, and they said, well, I don't know if we got too much of that, but there's this guy we just took to to Rome, and his name's Litefoot, and it was, man. I mean, the people in Italy were just like tripping, man. I mean, they're like, oh my God, this is an Indian, and he's rapping, and so I did a whole bunch of press. I mean, it was a real big hit over there, and so they told them about me, and I was at the Burns Paiute tribe in Oregon back on tour, and they said, hey, would you like to come to New York City and read for this part? And the crazy thing about it is our very next show was going to be for the Seneca Nation in New York, in New York State. So I just flew ahead of the guys, man. I had, bought all my equipment, and we pulled it all over the country, and, set up the shows and did the merchandise and did all that stuff. And then we would just pack it all back up again and go to the next place, man. I mean, I was doing probably a concert every other day. Wow. And so then as they were driving to New York from Oregon, I just flew ahead and went to New York City, first time in New York City, and I just went in and did it. I mean, I had never had any formal acting training, but and I tell you what, when I first heard the title of the movie, I was kind of resistant. I was like, the Indian and the what?
Yeah, it does seem
it's the book, right?
Yeah, you know what I mean? I thought, I got lyrics that are talking about stand up and represent and, know who you are. And so when they first told me about the movie and they sent me over the script, I was like, man, I don't think so, man. And then just read the script. And so when I did start looking into it, and I saw that, the little boy goes over and he watches, my character kick the teepee and ask him, what is this? I don't know what this is. I thought, how many kids out in the audience are going to go, hey, Mom, how come the Indian didn't know what a teepee is? Or, he doesn't ride a horse. Or how come his head shaved? Or why has he got tattoos? Or, all these things that would come up. I thought, man, this is kind of an extension of what I'm doing with my music. And this little 3-inch tall dude that's in this world he's been pulled into, he's kind of having to, go it alone. And I kind of felt like that way in my music, too, man. I mean, I was the only one of my kind kind of out there running around representing, and you kind of have to be about it, man. I mean, you can't go out there half-assed and expect people to, respect you. So I kind of came up fighting and clawing for every inch of the road that I could, move forward and, representing and, undoing people's stereotypes and, oh, Indians can't rap. And what do you mean? You rap? It was almost like I was from friggin' Mars, man.
Right.
And... how is this, even in my own community sometimes, man, if I got to be real about it, they're like, well, what are you trying to do and bring in this kind of music? I'm like, what do you mean this kind of music? So let me get this right. If we play country and Western music, then we're okay.
Right.
But if we do hip hop or rap, then that's just not okay.
It's taboo.
Right? So I'm just trying to think, what did the Cowboys play? I mean, what did the Cavalry play? Right? Western, all that kind of music. And that was the music we accept. And I'm like, come on, man. Don't put that crap on me. But it was you had to stand up and represent. People don't even have that. I mean, that's not even really a question anymore. That's just part of the struggle that I went through, out there, pioneering this music out into the community. And, people sometimes ask me now, why do you think it's so many reservations are so inundated with hip hop? And it's always a struggle for me to be humble and to, I know what I believe the answer is because they saw somebody like me going out there, getting it, signing his own checks, doing it and elevating and going through levels every year or every other year and keeping moving and doing bigger stuff and bigger stuff. And how can that not be a source of inspiration for young people? I'm not saying anything from an arrogant point of view.
And now you have a ton of accolades from your community for all your political interests and things that you've brought to them, correct?
It's been a blessing, I mean, there's no better proof and concept than to go out there and do it. And, people can talk about it and people can rah-rah this and rah-rah that, but when you go out there and actually do it, then you're doing it, people can't argue that. And so I've been very blessed, man. I mean, I've always had to kind of go outside of my community and look at other people that are killing it in various different spaces and, different great things they've done. And I kind of get a little frustrated at that because I want to see all my people doing great things. I want to see my people coming up and making it happen. And, I guess that's really at the end of the day what my life has really been about, no matter what it is I'm doing. And it's been music, it's been acting, it's been business. It's been fashion, whatever that it is, just directly out there speaking in the community, writing a book, doing whatever, it's to try to show folks, if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm no better than you. I just don't make excuses. And so, hey, it's tough for us all, man. It's hard for everybody. But you're either going to lay down and take it or you're going to get up and do something about it.
Word. Yeah, that's dope. So, all right, so let's do this, man. We're going to get into one of your tracks. We're going to take a musical break. Let's play. The first joint I heard from you was actually a few weeks ago, man. Difficult Times. You want to go ahead and introduce that and tell the people a little bit about that track and how that came about?
Yeah, man. Difficult Times is a song I did out at Jay-Z Studio in New York City, and I want to give a big shout out to TT who produced the track, and it's from an album called Relentless Pursuit, which is on iTunes or Google Play or wherever you get your music. And it's just really, this song was written on my last album, which was 7 years ago. I got a new one coming out next year, but it's crazy how so much that's in the song is still so relevant today. And,
oh yeah, it's crazy, man. Especially with that sample in the beginning with Barack Obama.
Yeah, and it's tough because I think this will lead into some stuff we're going to talk about, with Dakota Access and Standing Rock. But
yes,
long story short, it's just something I felt at that moment. It was kind of meant something to me because you know, and I think it's even in the lyrics of another song that you maybe can get to, but basically it's, man, he was acknowledging us, you know, for the first time, man, in my lifetime. A president actually acknowledged and went out to the community, and the words that you're going to hear, he spoke out on the Crow Agency in Montana before he was president.
Oh, that's nice.
It was a campaign stop, and so it just really hit me, man. And you know, kind of listening to those words now, you know, giving some stuff to talk about later.
Okay,
it kind of takes a whole new meaning.
All right, let's get into that track, and we gonna come back, y'all. Litefoot, y'all. Difficult times, sign of the times, man. Actually, man, y'all know what's happening out here.
The cuff.
Yeah, off the cuff right now. RadioSuper.com. We're going to come back with Litefoot. We're going to talk about what's going on Standard Rock, Dakota the Access Pipeline thing.
You have been ignored by Washington for as long as Native Americans, the first Americans. Too often, Washington has paid lip service to working with tribes while taking a one-size-fits-all approach with tribal communities across the nation. That will change when I am president of the United States.
It's the land of the free, but really are we? When the rich F it up and you left with 700 B, with pennies off the check, all that's left each month, and the price per gallon, it got you skipping lunch. And when your credit's fucked up, what's a credit crunch? What's a loan to the unknown man? They out of touch. Laying awake each night, this shit ain't right. Visions of my grandchildren's already fucked up life, and that's fucked up, right? They born to the plight, outside of the system, wings clip before flight. And there is a feeling overwhelmingly that colonization is failing me. A slave to the system, time to break these chains. Wake up at the wheel, driving switch up lanes. That wall on the street built to ostracize mine, a house of cards in prophesied times. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. I wanna believe in hope and get over the deceit, but you gonna have to do more than just telling me. It is hell on we, the people that greeted y'all. We need a unity equally encompasses all. I wanna view the U.S. like it's U.S., not some dudes in D.C. of me that's clueless. Barack gave me hope on election night, said Native American in his speech that night. Brought tears to my eyes over just 2 words, may slip by you like they was just 2 words. Cause we've been left out, discarded and swept out. Hearts that's empty from guts that's wept out. Been waiting on the light, surviving in the dark, trying to win this race. It's over before it starts, like we living in the maze and looking for exit signs. Watch the last be first in these final times. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. We gotta put it together, then you figure it out. Cause the signs is all there behind their fear and doubt. Need to hear me out, I was born to spit this, and God's my witness, we ain't got much choices. There's many that's called, but the chosen a few, and even those hesitate cause others hate what's in you. So I know Rev Run knows and Barack got a role, and the gift Jigga got not having to write when he flow. It come from another place, out the bore hole in your face, your mouth, and the outcome in years is called fate. So Martin Luther died for why Crazy Horse died, for the masses to be free, some have to leave this life. Ultimate sacrifice for red, black, yellow, white. Ultimate price, earth, if we can't get this right. And what the fuck is this but just 16 lines? Well, I guess we'll find out in these difficult times. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's melting down, it is tripping, tripping. The good times got us tripping, tripping. We gotta get it right, this ain't living, living. The good times, the clock is ticking, ticking. The earth's
be on the outside. I know what it's like to not always have been respected or to have been ignored. I know what it's like to struggle. And that's how I think many of you understand what's happened here on the reservation. That a lot of times you have been forgotten, just like African Americans have been forgotten, or other groups in this country have been forgotten. And because I have that experience, I want you to know that I will never forget you. You will be on my mind every day that I'm in the White House. We will never be able to undo the wrongs that were committed against Native Americans. But what we can do is make sure that we have a president who's committed to doing what's right with Native Americans, being a full partner, respecting you, honoring you, working with you. That's the commitment that I am making to you. And since now I'm a member of the family, you know that I won't break my commitment to my own brothers and my own sisters. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. I'm honored to be part of you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
We're back.
We back, y'all. We got Litefoot on the line, OG, Cherokee, Native American, represent hip-hop, actor, activist. So we went into the song Difficult Times. Now we're going to talk about what's going on out there. Standing Rock, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't even know where to start with this. I mean, we got a lot of cats out here like this that's in the Native American community that's actually been, you know, going out there,
right?
You know, protesting, and you know what's going on with that.
Supporting the movement.
Yeah, supporting the movement and stuff. And definitely here at Radio Super, we do support that movement too. Just
Correct.
to let you know. Litefoot, man, what are your thoughts on what's going on out there?
So for one, you know, I've been at Standing Rock going back to the very early days of my traveling around, and you know, back in 1994, I believe it was, that really all began, and just being in the community and speaking in the community, and it's been a long-standing relationship that I've had up there, and you know, just before there was a Dakota Access or you know, this whole movement, just being in the community up there, just like a lot of the reservations across the country, and when this all started really, you know, getting fired up and moving forward, I just knew I had to get out there. So September, I ended up actually, the window that kind of opened up in my calendar to be able to go out there and do it was, you know, the day before my birthday. And so I took my son, and, you know, it was really eye-opening for him. And it was just such an empowering moment, but at the same time it was surreal, because as far as we've come in some regards, I mean, we haven't even moved an inch in other regards. And what's crazy about up there is, I want to say it's Fort Lincoln, which is about 20 minutes from to where this is all kind of going down, is where Custer left North Dakota to actually take the 7th Cavalry and go over to what would later become the Battle of Little Bighorn, and where he died. And it's kind of crazy, because the first day I got there was the first day that the National Guard was deployed, and I kind of felt like, you know, man, I'm at a roadblock on a reservation with the military. And I mean, these dudes were strapped, right? You know, it's kind of like when we see folks going to Louisiana or Florida, you know, if there's a hurricane or a flood or something like that, you know, guys are out there from the military, you know, cleaning up, and they're working, right? These dudes were like at an outpost. I mean,
wow.
They were like, you know, they had the sidearm on, they had the stun guns on, they had probably other stuff in the vehicles, and I looked at the dude and I said, hey man, you know, how's it going today? And he said, good. He goes, you know, I think he said something about, you know, we're just here for safety. And I'm like, well, he said, because there's people running across the street, running across the road down there, and we don't want anybody to get hurt. And I said, well, then, if you don't want them to get hurt, why are you 20 minutes from them?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
you know, who are you going to? I'm getting hit by a car up here. And he just kind of looked at me, and I said, all right, man, well, you know, I know you're doing your job, but I said, it's crazy, man. It's like the old days, huh? And he looked at me.
Wow.
He didn't know what to say, man. But when I got out there, man, it was just such a beautiful thing to see all the people come together, man. I think the day that I got there, there was more people in the camp than had ever been in the camp up to that time. And we went and we gave away a bunch of clothing to a lot of people that were there. And, I spoke at the camp that night and, tried to encourage the people. And the next day I went and took my son out, down into the main part of the res, and we went to where Sitting Bull, actually Sitting Bull was killed on that reservation. Another Native person who actually happened to be Bureau of Indian Affairs police officer at the time. I want to say that's what he was. I don't know if he was straight up military or if he was BIA. But they named this area, if I'm not mistaken, Bullhead. There is an area, there's a city named Bullhead. But that's where he unfortunately was murdered. And we went to his grave, and it was just kind of very impactful to me and to my son to stand there in front of his grave and just think, man, you fought hard, you did what you did, and this is before social media, obviously, before the news, and before technology anywhere close to what we know it today. And these folks just straight up did what they had to do. The whole movement at Standing Rock and, no DAPL, no DAPL, and whatever has really been possible because of social media and been possible when no outlets would come and pay attention to it. And now it's around the world. And these folks stood with no hope of ever having their voice be heard, man.
So,
and that's a whole other kind of committed. That's a whole other kind of.
I'm curious to get your viewpoint on what the actual point that this happened, where there was a conflict in the oil out there. I originally heard about the oil fields being found several years ago, and there was a rush of employment and building and inflation in certain communities out there. And then I didn't really hear anything for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden we're hearing about the conflict with the Indian community. So what actually happened up there between the time the boom started, and how did it get into conflict with the community and the reservation, and actually what's going on right now?
So I think there's a couple of things. I think maybe the area that you're really talking mostly about in North Dakota is the Bakken, which is 3 affiliated tribes, Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara, which is on the western side of the state. Where this is happening is where the pipeline is coming through. And so the boom, I know that there's some gas resources that come through there, and this is, of course, a pipeline for oil. There's other pipelines that have cut through there for a number of years. I think this is where it gets fairly complicated, and I'm not sort of officially speaking on behalf of the tribe in any way, any shape, any capacity. But what I do know is that this is something that's important on a much larger scale, and in no way demeaning or putting down or lessening or reducing the importance of the resistance that the folks, myself included, have been up there and supported, stood with. But Indian country still isn't heard. And this whole issue stems from a problem of lack of understanding. It stems from a sheer ignorance and mainstream and across America as to the nuances of Indian country. And when you look into the reservation, and when you think about Indians today, you forget that this is our homeland, man. And as much as people might think that's stating the obvious, we're the only people that's been at war, not resist or riot but the all-out war. nation to nation to nation to nation to nation against, the aggression that today we know as manifest destiny, colonization, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And that's a different, couple hundred years later, 300 years later, 400 years later experience from very first time before even Columbus and people were coming over here and kind of feeling it out over the years. I mean, today we now know that the Vikings were, sort of up in the northeast, and, that part of the country way before anybody ever suspected. And there was trade. And you look even further back, today was St. Louis, Missouri, and you look at Cahokia. Those were major trade epicenters amongst all of our people around North America. And even further away, we have, proof that people came from, over across the waters to come over in this part of the country and to trade and, seek out vitality. I think it's important to understand that this can't stop with Standing Rock, regardless of whether, the outcome is one way or the other, which of course everybody's hoping and working and pushing to have it, be one way. You cannot stop this. Yeah. And that was part of my questions when I was up there is what's the bigger game here? What are we really trying to do in taking all of this energy and this worldwide attention and taking it towards something that has long-term sustainability and communicating what the real issues are. If everybody just thinks that the issues are around pipelines in Indian country, or if the issue is only, single-faceted, or it's this micro and not this macro, then man, we haven't taken this energy and really maximized it so people can really get up to speed, because we've been, unfortunately, the end result of so many years of lack of knowledge and lack of communication and information. Our story is not in the history books.
No.
And it's on purpose.
Yeah. That's crazy.
If we have this moment, we should use it, in the most intelligent, wise, long-term, thinking about 7 generations from now, fashion that we can possibly, while still making sure that we stand for this issue, of course. But we got to really be thinking about, these opportunities, man, where Indian country has got this kind of focus, few and far between, man.
Word,
yeah,
man. That was crazy. All right, so now we got to get into another musical break right now. Let's get into your track called Different People, man. It's another crazy track that I think everybody needs to hear. If you want to talk just a little bit about that before we go into it.
Yeah, real quick, man. I mean, so the track's called Different People. You can check it out, on SoundCloud for free, or whatever. Stream it on Spotify. And basically what it is just, it's recognize the fact that, all of us are beautiful, man, because we all have different things. But you know what? We're more alike than we are different, and we have to recognize the different nature of who we are and the beauty in it. But, at a very fundamental base level, man, we're not different at all. And we have to recognize the similarity in the things that we have in common, and realize there's more about being inclusive than exclusive, and find ways to come together. But this is also putting it down for, like, explaining why, explaining Wall Street. Wall Street was a street on the other side of a wall that was about 10 feet tall. It was built to keep natives away because people were afraid that the Indians were going to come get them, I guess. And so they literally built this wall to ostracize the people from the rest of the folks there in the town. So, it's just kind of breaking it down a little bit and helping people understand, I mean, I'm talking about oil, I'm talking about water, I'm talking about the earth, and this is all the way back, 7-8 years ago.
All right, word, man. We're going to get into that. RadioSuper.com, Lisa Arenas, DJ Den3, Litefoot. We'll be right back, y'all.
Of this land, native from sea to sea, so I don't throw up a hood, fuck a boundary. You come around with me, my mentality is original, aboriginality. My heart pumps red, man, It's just like yours, but the color of my skin breeded whites on shores. We different now, like we was different then, but the difference is we wasn't all fenced in, and now we are invisibly bound and gagged. Too scared to stand for getting bound and dragged. America's still on some other shit to me. They set our brothers free, forgot our slavery. Contracts was broke before the ink could dry. But who you gonna sue when you running for your life? We understand the ultimate of all jack moves. Still different people, so what the fuck you gonna do? We 500 tribes, but ain't that left alive? I'm sick to survive, I wanna live my life. Can't know me now if you ain't know my past. Feel like the last is first and the first is last. I'm down by birth to a struggle I didn't want. I inherited the pain like a tat I can't get off. It's in my grandpa's walk, the tears in his talk, in every grandma and every smallpox cough. These rhymes cut hard, I'm obsidian tongue. I was born to this world from my Aztec mom, Anjala Gisi, Cherokee. A warrior seek no peace from my enemies. Bow down to my knees to the morning sun, and I pray to God about what these fools have done. The earth mo hotter, we running out of water. Money got funny, that's when they got bothered. Wall Street originally built 12 feet high, about twice my height to divide red and white. Wikipedia, man, a fact's a fact. What goes around usually comes right back. We 500 tribes, but ain't that left alive? I'm sick to survive, I wanna live my life. Can't know me now if you ain't know my past. Feel like the last is first and the first is last. You could give me love and set my people free. You could admit you're wrong and clear your memory. Propaganda for years, we was nothing but drunks, but the evil in men redefined who we was. Look what folks doing, just losing their house. Got them taking their life, killing their kids and spouse. What if they got marched and then starved too? They snatched up their kids and sent them away to school. Bet your ass pop a pill, try to die in a bottle. Wake up every morning with an unexplainable hollow that can't be filled up any other way but one. Trying to find answers and justify what they done. With that said, my brother, we more the same than not. The same feelings you have, the same ones I got. We could unite the cause, the struggle and the plight, but we different people still think it's a different fight. We 500 tribes, but ain't that left alive? I'm sick to survive, I wanna live my life. Can't know me now if you ain't know my past. Feel like the last is first and the first is last.
Yes. RadioSuper.com, off the cuff. We over here, we having a great conversation with the brother Litefoot over there. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yes, sir, man. I mean, it's been an awesome show, man. We getting a lot of good information on what's going on out there at Standing Rock. This is our current events section. You know, our little
switch it up a little.
Yeah, we switched it up a little bit. I don't even know how we gonna switch it up with all this crazy.
That is current events.
Yeah, this current day and time. You know what I mean? Which goes into it, man. I don't know how you want to start this, Lisa.
It's Sunday. It's football day, so let's go back to
Monday.
Monday. Yeah, Monday Night Football. I'm sorry. Colin Kaepernick. I seen a blog that he started the first youth camp for the Black Panther movement. Thoughts? Anything?
Yeah. You got any thoughts on that, Litefoot?
You know, I think that, look, violence should always be sort of, I guess let me say this first. You know, I think with the Black Panther movement, in the Brown Berets and everything, you know, the American Indian movement, in the 60s and 70s that you know, Huey Newton and everybody, Russell Means, that did the work that they did at the time. Yeah, I can't speak for that because I can't even imagine, man, the struggle and what they woke up to every single day and how crazy things were at that time.
Right.
I know what they are today, and I think that we have to fight smarter, and I think that and let me say smarter, and again, I don't want to denigrate or reduce anything that they had to do, because all of it was necessary to get us where we are today.
That's cool.
But I think that we have other tools that if we use them, we can communicate and get our message. Because, I mean, if we're really looking at, what do we want to get out of the end game? I mean, I think if you're responsible with it, no matter where you're coming from, you've got to think about, okay, well, look, I can like do this right here and light the fuse on something. Okay, but what happens after it blows up? What are you going to do?
I think you're correct on the do it smarter. You have to use education.
And that potentially, if it blows up, it could hurt me, it could hurt my kids, it could hurt them, it could hurt the other people that don't have nothing to do with it. And so can we try to find a way that communicate? I mean, that's kind of our job, right? To find the ways to build the bridges. And if we're really wanting to see us get from point A to point B, then we got to build the best bridge that we can from point A to point B that everybody can go across on. Now, that doesn't mean everybody's going to do it, but we got to put forth that energy, because if we want to talk about righteousness and we want to talk about people being the way that we want them to be to us, then we kind of have to be an example of that. And it seems kind of crazy, because why would the oppressed or the people that are feeling that way have to be the ones demonstrating that to other folks? I think that there's a real danger in moving forward wherein that you lose who you are trying to overcome or get around something.
Yes.
And before you know it, it's sort of counterintuitive, and everybody then becomes part of the problem and nobody's part of the solution. And I think if we're thinking about it, we're here for just a moment on this earth, man. I mean, I don't care if you live to 100, 105, whatever. That's just a blink of an eye, man. And especially right now, I think we really got to think about the food that we're putting out for people to eat. I think about, we got to think about the energy that we're putting out there, because when people take that energy, is it going to bring us to a better end result, or is it going to take us backwards? And at some point in time, hey, look, my music has been an example of something. You just got to say it is what it is, and people can come to it however they want to come to it. But at some point in time, you got to say, okay, look, now that I got your attention, what are we going to do about it, man?
Absolutely.
How are we going to fix this? Because, it's about your kids, it's about my kids, about your grandkids, about my grandkids. It's about everybody, man. And we obviously know things ain't working the best way. So I put some up on Twitter the other day and on Facebook. It said basically, when people are disenfranchised, no matter who they are, and they feel like they don't matter anymore, they're not engaged.
Correct.
And I think that there's a lot of people in this country, man, of course, Native people, Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, white people, that don't feel like they're a part of this system, man. They feel disenfranchised. They feel like they're not in touch. And so there's a real danger in that, because anybody telling the best story can sway people, because they're so hungry for somebody that will make them feel engaged again and make them feel a part of the conversation again. And so many people feel that way today. And I feel like, again, we got to really think about what we're saying to folks, man, and are we really able to do that? Or sometimes if we're not paying attention, we can get taken for a ride, and that's the real concern I think we got to all be looking at. So, as far as the Black Panthers or anything like that, I'm really, at this point in my life, man, I've been through a lot of things where I've had a lot of emotions as an artist and felt a lot of things, and the solution was what I understood at the time. But where I'm at right now in my life, I feel like we got to look at what we can do with the tools that have been given to us in making videos or expressing ourselves and helping people understand things. We've got incredible access right now to help people and sharing our ideas, but we got to take the time maybe to learn how to make a video or to learn how to record ourselves. Like what you guys are doing right here with your radio show is revolutionary.
Thank you.
And that's why my album is called Revolutionary, because, I'm not talking about like, oh, let's go get guns and march on, capitals, or let's go take over the city. I'm saying if we want things to change, to evolve, and to become different, that has to start with us.
I like that.
And we have to revolutionize our mind and who we think we are, and understand our worth and our value. If we ever want other people to see us differently, we have to know who we are and what we're worth.
Word.
Beautiful.
Man, that was much of a mouthful. some jewels in that, man. All right, how about another thing that's happening now? Of course, you know, President-elect Trump has been elected.
By electoral votes, not individual ones, mind you.
Right, electoral votes.
Let's talk about that part of it too.
Well, I was gonna go to the whole part of the whole rioting part. You know what I mean? There's a lot of riots out there in the West Coast, man. Like, I don't know how it is in Seattle, but I'm hearing a lot of like reports from Oregon. And
all the high schools did walkouts here.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like, you know, like damage and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you know, mostly like this country would think, man, these black people and stuff like that. Most of these people are white people.
I was watching Saturday Night Live this weekend, man.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah,
I, for the first time in my life, saw white people riot, and anyway, it was just, it's crazy, man. But I think, you know, I go back to what I said a minute ago, man. People feeling like they're not represented. People feeling like they're not in, you know, part of the movement, part of the conversation, part of the fabric of this country, and they feel disenfranchised. I mean, if you look at the vote, it was pretty much split right down the middle, man. I mean, he get 100,000 more. She got 100,000 more votes than he did.
Well, and then she technically got more individual American votes, but they did that BS electoral college vote stuff, and then now all of a sudden Trump won. I think that's a big part of, you know, feeling disconnected from the process, because they literally show you that it doesn't matter how you individually voted. After all, they still did what they wanted at the end.
I think we got to do some changing, man. I mean, I think, you know, people aren't going for that thing anymore. I get it. You know, I think that I heard somebody talking about it the other day, saying that the electoral college was to ensure that whoever became president, it wouldn't be a fluke and somebody couldn't somehow landslide an election from a popular vote, wherein that the candidate, the safety mechanism was that the electoral college would come in and make sure that the candidate was a qualified candidate. Well, it failed on both accounts in this election.
Yeah, it's the dream they sold America.
Opinion, right? I mean, this is something that nobody saw coming, and, you know, I guess, you know, this country is a baby, man. I mean, if you look around the world at countries, this country is in its infancy.
Yeah.
And maybe it's part of what you start looking at, you know, some of these things look good on paper, man, but you live enough life and you go through enough years as a country, you start finding out what works and what doesn't work, and you kind of, you know, grow to a point where, hey, look, maybe we need to evolve. And I think as part of a democracy, that's the beauty of it. You evolve and you grow, and the people decide, you know, how things should be within reason of checks and balances and all that good stuff. But I think these are things that we need to pay attention to and look at. And you're right. What it does is it disconnects people further, because they feel like they voted, they said what they needed to say, they won, and then no matter what they said, it just kind of flipped. And let me tell you, that's exactly how Indian country feels. Wow. It's almost like no matter what the hell you do, all these years, you comply, you learn the language, you go do this, you go to this, and then you play the game, and then they come and say, hey, look, get your ass up, you're moving to Oklahoma.
Wow.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's...
And I did this, no, but we want the land now, so get up, you know, as a matter of fact, go in your pajamas. I know it's winter. Whatever. Get the hell out of your house. Go stand out there until we're ready to, you know, march your ass over there. Well, can I get a blanket? No, get your ass out there and get in line.
The big F you.
Now,
yeah.
You know, people think that that's like hyping it up or blowing it out of proportion.
It's really not, man. It's really not.
It's actually kind of a soft blanket version of how it really goes.
Yeah.
It historically happened to my people on the Trail of Tears. And with food still on the stove and can't turn your fire off, you just get your ass out there and get in line. And people were put in stockades until they rounded everybody up, and then, you know, you started walking. That is something that I don't know if our people have still gotten over. As much great things as we've done, you know what I mean? I don't want to say that we haven't made progress. I don't want to say that people haven't done great things. I don't want to say, you know, kind of that negative, oh, look, you know, it's just horrible. But, you know, look, man, at the same time, I don't want to tell my people or have the world think that we barely got the friggin' bar up off the ground an inch and a half, and we're doing okay over here. Oh,
yeah.
Bullshit on that, man.
Dog.
I mean, it ain't good enough. And, you know, nobody else would accept that, right? Nobody else would say, hey, we got the bar an inch and a half off of the ground. Things are looking up.
Right.
And what are you talking about? Horrible.
On that note, man, I hate to cut you off, though, man. I mean, you was dropping some serious things. I wish this was a longer show, man. But, yeah, we got to get out of here in a few. But what I want you to do is, plug your information out there, how people can find your music.
Anything else you want people to know? That
you're working on and stuff like that, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, because and I appreciate you guys, man, and thank you for having me on. And here's a couple things. One, it's Litefoot.com, Litefoot.com, at Litefoot on Twitter, at Litefoot on Instagram, Facebook.com/Litefoot, and again, it's Litefoot. You can get my music on iTunes, Tidal, Google Play, listen to it on Spotify, SoundCloud. We got YouTube.com/Litefoot. I've got Litefoot's Relentless Pursuit web series that's up there. We're getting ready to start the Litefoot Show, which will be a podcast. So we're doing a lot of things to get the message out. But long story short, I just want to say, as much as we're talking about these issues, I don't, in communicating this, ever want anybody to think that we don't need them to be aware or that we don't need them to be a part of this. This isn't about building islands or buckets or silos. It's about how can we come together. Indian country needs people to become aware. We all need to better understand each other. Our prophecies talk about compassion, and when we lose compassion, that's when the Creator is going to come and kind of like wipe the slate clean. We're living in times, man, where it's more important than ever that we're compassionate to each other's needs, each other's situations, and that we're hearing each other, man. That we're not so focused on talking, but we're listening to other folks so we have better things to say. So I just want to say much love to everybody out there. I appreciate you. I appreciate all my people in Indian country, in the Phoenix area. Thank you so much for all the years of support. And I just want to say, God bless, and to the Cherokee Nation, the Valley of the Sun Cherokees that are organized right there. I just want to say what's up and shout out and much love to them too. And thank you again, you guys, for allowing me the time. And
thank you.
And, much love and blessings.
Thank you, man. Peace and blessings to you.
We appreciate it.
Yes, man. So definitely, we're going to be, we're going to be keeping your eye out on, what's going on with you, man. And hopefully, this is not the last time we actually build and talk. All right, fam.
No doubt. I appreciate you guys, man, and thank you. And much love to everybody out there. And together we'll get there, man. Together we'll get there.
Yep. Y'all have a great night.
All right, man. Peace. Litefoot, y'all. Radio
Off the cuff.
Off the cuff. RadioSuper.com. We out.
Reverencing cattle's racing, devils and demons in Deuteronomy. Fumigate all economy, illuminate broken dreams and manifest all insanity. Look around, sayonara tomorrow, here's just blood on the ground.